That's fantastic.
Oh, wow, it's really clear, man. That's really clear.
Well, that's because there's no
The window,
screen
yeah,
anymore.
I like that.
Hopefully, I don't scare these birds. If I do, I'm gonna shut the window again.
I can hear you.
I know.
Turn that sound
Huh?
for now. Take your sound off now.
No. Big Mama. Hello, Big Mama.
I really like that sound. $337. Let's get the 400 today. Come on, let's get 400. Come on. Come on.
I wish I knew where the hell that book went. You think it's back there, huh?
Oh yeah, behind everything.
Great. No, I got this one. I got that one. Well, what did we talk about last time? Chapter 2. Yeah, no, chapter 2. Chapter 2. No, we skipped over chapter 3.
Chapter 4.
And we're doing chapter 4 in 2 stages. We're talking about feathers, right? I've been sick. Big Mama's been sick. Lilic's been sick. Lilic's sick. Sick Lilic. The sick X. All right. So last we were talking about the preen gland. The preen gland secretes this waxy secretion, and they use that along with their little barbs in their, well, along with their little feet. They scratch along, but they use their barbs in their beaks and their bills to apply that waxy substance from their preen gland to their feathers. And they also, hey, hello, good, hey, J-Man, hey, welcome back to the show, J-Man. We just started, dude. We started. Where you at today? Let's see, where's that? Canada. Oh, Canada. You're America's hat. No, I'm just joking, dude. Canada. Oh, it's not. You're not from there, huh? Well, let's see. We were on feather growth. That was the next section we're gonna get to. The land of the loyalists. Yeah, we're just a bunch of filthy rebel peasants over down here in the USA. Yeah, you know what though? I miss the Queen. I mean, I heard. Well, we don't get political on this channel, but I heard. What is it? Is it Andrew that's getting a little bit of trouble? Oh, your brother-in-law is from England. My brother. Is your brother-in-law from England? That's amazing. Oh yeah. Oh, it's Big Mama. Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry. They're both the same color on here. Hi, I'm playing that. I know colors. I can read. Thanks, dude. Yeah, Andrew. Yeah. He's in a bit of hot water, and then I guess King is weird saying King Charles. The king is like, he's all like, yeah, you need to go, man. I guess they like banished him to some I don't know, some place, somewhere. I mean, I don't know. I look, I got opinions on that whole thing. I guess you can probably imagine what they are, but I'm keeping to myself just because we don't get political. So, and that's just I don't. So yeah, where I am, the king comes. Yeah, well, it's It's a weird saying the king instead of the queen. Long live the king. Yeah, well, I mean, sure if you're British. No, I'm sure. Dude, they're weird, man. I saw that Royals show. Oh man, it's whatever it came out like a couple years ago on was it Netflix? Was it Netflix? I don't know. The Royals. It was on one of the other ones. I don't know. It's probably Netflix. Um, and dude, they're weird. They're weird, man. But Queen Elizabeth was look. Queen Elizabeth was a rather likable person. I mean, she was like all business all the time. But um, and then who was the king during World War I? Was that um, I don't want to say Henry. That was Edward, King Edward, right? Is that right? George, King George. Yeah, you're right. All right, man. Sorry, King's. We got to think about King's name George here in the states. All right, man. I'm just joking around. Feather growth. Although a bird can change the position of visibility and function of its plumage, it cannot change the structure of an individual feather. Feathers are inert structures. Once fully grown, they cannot change color or form, except through fading or abrasion. No nerves, muscles, or blood vessels lie beneath the outer surface of the exposed feather. The only mechanism for repair of damage is replacement of the whole feather. Except for cases of accidental loss of feathers and their immediate regrowth, feather replacement takes place regularly with age and with season. That's molting. I'm sure they're going to talk about molting here in a second. The new feathers grow from specialized pockets of epidermal and dermal cells called follicles, like hair. They all. Well, they're all hair and feathers, and sweat glands and other glands and mammary glands for that matter are all um, modified skin cells that have just kind of mutated over time. Anyway, new feathers grow from specialized pockets of epidermal and dermal cells called follicles, which periodically produce new feathers. The growth of a new contour feather starts in the follicle with the formation of the dermal papilla with a thickened apical cap. A thin layer of epidermal cells covering the papilla gradually thickens into the collar that develops into the feather. The dermal papilla develops into the feather pulp that supports the delicate epidermal cylinder. It also supplies nutrients to and removes waste from the cells of the growing feather. The cells of the epidermal cylinder divide rapidly to form. Okay, thanks. She's back there going, shit. Hey, what's up, Jay Fishing? What's up? What's happening, dude? Jay. Wow. Okay, Jay, man. All right, bro. Jay Fishing. Good to see you, bro. Where's that at? The cells of the epidermal cylinder divide rapidly to form a tube-like structure, the main axis of which will form the rachis, that's the main vein, for lack of a better term, and the secondary barb ridges. Cells then differentiate into barbs and barbules. I'm going to show you a figure here. Yeah, like that. Hope I was showing the right. There we go. Showing the right thing. So that's the figure we're talking about there. That's how a feather works, grows, so to speak. The transformation of soft okay, so the new feather grows rapidly, and towards the end of its growth, the basal cells form a simple cylindrical calamus that anchors the mature feather in the follicle. The emerging new feather then pushes its predecessor out of the follicle. The transformation of soft epidermal tissue into a hard, durable structure is the last phase of feather growth. A major shift in cell function causes the new feather to fill with keratin, which constitutes 90% of the mature feather. As the process of keratinization ceases in the oldest outermost feather cells, the sheath encasing the young feather cracks. Sorry, the sheath encasing the young feather cracks, allowing the keratinized feather tips to emerge and the barbs to unfold. The pulp, the core of living cells and blood vessels, is then resorbed. That's a weird word. Resorbed, I guess it's reabsorbed by the follicle, rendering the completed new feather inert. The only evidence remaining of this early life support system is a small hole at the end of the shaft, known as the inferior umbiculus. That's what they used to use to write with. the quill. So again, here I'll show you the figure there. That's what we're talking about. Well, it's not the greatest. It just does not want to. It's too dark over here. See if there we go. Everybody see that now? Good. All right. Just want to make sure we got visual aids going so everybody can see what we're talking about. I'm not going to show every visual aid, of course, but I'll show them. I'm showing the important ones. The follicle. Let me get a little drink here. That I'm almost out. The follicle grips the feather at the calamus by a combination of muscular tightening and friction. Substantial force is required to pull a feather from its grip. 500 to 1,000 grams for a single body feather of the average chicken. Is that right? The tight grip of follicular muscles, which are controlled by the autonomic nervous system, may relax when a bird becomes frightened. The resultant loss of feathers is known as fright molt. Oh, that's when that's a freak out and the feathers fly everywhere. You listen to me? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's sometimes it's easier to see a picture when you got so many biology terms flying at you. It's easier to just be able to go back and look at a picture of what I just said. So, all right, molts and plume. There we go, molting. So yeah, hey, remember the Canada? We'll talk about Canada geese. There's some stuff over on the channel. Hey, subscribe to the channel if you're still on watching just by birds. Just get over and subscribe to the channel. We got some video over there. We got some Canada geese. I'm gonna get more video of them too. Maybe I might actually get in a fight with one this spring. We'll see. When they molt their feathers when their eggs are laid. Jay, man, you're the dude. You're the dude, man. You're the dude. I appreciate you saying it because I forget. So, they molt their feathers when their eggs are laid, and then they're in the process of regrowing them as the chick grows up as a gosling and then a goose. So they can't fly all during that time until the baby can fly. So they're grounded, and that's why they're so ill-tempered. That's while they're molting. So you take away the fight or half a fight or flight. You take away the flight half, and then all you got is an angry goose. Molts of plumages. Every bird goes through a series of plumages in its lifetime. The first natal down may consist of a few scattered down feathers, as in the case of most hatchling land birds, or it may be a dense, fuzzy covering like that of baby ducks and chickens. Such fragile feathers rarely last more than a week or two. They are soon replaced by a more substantial set of downy or pennaceous feathers. Pennaceous is the outer covering. Let me look up this definition because I wrote it down. Pennaceous. No, I didn't. Pennaceous is the outer. I looked it up. I had the definition in the last one. That's the outer. That's your outer covering. Any outer covering. That's your pennaceous layer. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I wrote. Yeah, I wrote down here. I didn't even have to go look it up. Most birds have only one coat of natal down, which is pushed out of its follicles by incoming juvenile or pennaceous feathers. Wisps of down may remain attached for a time to the new feathers. The baby bird's first set of wing and tail feathers appear at this time and grow rapidly in preparation for flight. As the young bird, now called a juvenile, approaches independence, it begins to exchange parts of its juvenile feathers for new plumage. In loons and penguins, the second generation of down grows from the same follicles, pushing the old ones out. In hawks and waterfowl, a second coat of down grows from different follicles. So we were talking about how wood ducks do that. They molt twice a year. One for breeding when they're looking gorgeous, the males, and then the other one where they're kind of hiding. And they're more drab. Anyway, the replacement of juvenile plumage by feathers that closely resemble those of adults involve most of the body feathers, although not always those in the wings or tail. The young American robin, for example, which we have around here, all over the place, begins in midsummer to replace its spotted juvenile plumage with unspotted adult plumage. The first wing feathers remain. For a few months later, its original flight feathers will propel the young robin on its first migratory flight. The bird will not molt again until it is just over 1 year old. Wood ducks are metal, dude. They're my favorite. I love wood ducks, man. We had 4 of them over at the pond. Well, we had mama plus 5, and then it was mama plus 4, and then it was no mama and 4, and then one day, I'm kind of counting down the days. Are like, oh, they're gonna leave. They're all gonna go. And there's 1 boy and 3 girls, and then one day they took off, and I never saw them. I haven't seen them on probably. If they're like most birds, and I have to look this up, but if they're like most birds, they'll come back and they'll come back and they will establish themselves within a pretty small range of where they were hatched. I mean, most birds do that. Eagles do within 100 miles. So if I imagine the smaller the bird, but I could be totally wrong, totally off base. Let's see here. Wood ducks are great, dude. I love wood ducks. They're like if you love wood ducks, J-Man, if you love wood ducks, go look at the mandarin duck. Have you ever seen the mandarin duck? Mandarin ducks and wood ducks are pretty closely related. They actually split apart from each other. I think what I read was 30 million years ago. Um, yeah, mandarin. Yeah, dude, they're gorgeous birds. We have down here at the St. Louis Zoo. They're gorgeous birds. I'm glad we have something. I feel fortunate that we have something so beautiful here up in North America. You got that right, baby. Love them all. The adult bird typically remolts in the summer after breeding, replacing its entire plumage. It may keep its new set of feathers for 12 months, or it may replace some plumage before nesting the following spring, converting somber camouflage plumage to a brightly colored plumage for territorial display. Feathers of species that retain their plumage a full year may change in appearance because of wear. The European starling, which we also have around here all over the place, which is spotted in the winter, as you know, Big Mama, loses its spots as the feather tips wear off, and by spring is sleek and glossy and black, mostly black. I didn't know that. It's so they change color due to the wear and tear, and then it actually makes them kind of look better. That's cool. Close examination of the feathers of a male scarlet tanager. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know about the beaks?
What about the the beaks of I don't know if I did. So speaking of European starlings, we had a question from the back. Do they know about the beaks of European starlings? They can open their beaks. They have more. They can open their beaks with more force than they can close them. European starlings, because I guess they got to look under rocks and stuff like that. I have no. Oh, he's a piece of. He's a sick guy, and when he goes, he deserves to rot in hell. That's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you very much for asking. Okay, this is a biology clinic channel where we talk about birds. All right, we don't talk about religion. We don't talk about politics. Having said that, I'll say this: Jeffrey Epstein is a piece of shit, and he deserves to rot in hell. All right, enough. Moving on. Well, you come to the wrong channel. I mean, I love it that you came, Libby, but we're talking about birds there, sweetheart. Ah, you do? Oh, nice. Okay, well, Big Mama wants to know what kind of birds you have.
I used to have.
Yeah, we all want to know what kind. Oh, okay, you ask her then. All right, so here we go. Here we go. What do we got? In its first month, a juvenile male scarlet tanager is olive green with olive brown wing feathers and streaked underparts. After it molts in July and August, it resembles its unstreaked olive green mother, except for black wing coverts that identify it as a male. So it's got a big red body like a cardinal, but it's got dark black feathers. So it looks really cool. Yeah, bird nerds. Yeah, dude. You met the king of the bird nerds, the nerdiest of nerdy bird nerds. Yeah. Let's see. During this, during this process, it has a mixture of old and new feathers, green, yellow, and orange. Even when fully red orange in May, its olive brown wings signal its status as a first year individual. Oh, okay. Adult males have black wing feathers black wing feathers, period. In its second summer, the male tanager molts its entire plumage, replacing red-orange body feathers with olive-green winter plumage and replacing its olive-brown wing feathers with jet black feathers. The following spring, it replaces winter plumage with a bright red breeding plumage. Sorry, with a bright red breeding plumage. By this age, it resembles all other adult males. After breeding, the adult tanager molts completely into camouflage plumage, and every year before breeding, it molts partially into brightly colored display plumage. So, yeah, they got it. They got it. That's a lot of words to say. They dress up for the ball, man. they get dressed up for the ladies, and then once they got a date, dude, and they go to the ball and they have a good old time. They get to wear their house clothes. All right. Philip Humphrey and Kenneth Parks recognized the need for a terminology of molts and plumages as is independent of seasonal aspects, which vary among species and regions. They proposed that molts be. I got new glasses yesterday, so I'm kind of getting used. Oh, you saw an indigo bunting? Oh, those are beautiful birds. That's one of those birds that I want to see before I die. It's a bucket list bird, I guess, if you will. Um, I want to see an American kestrel too. That's aside from the wood duck, American kestrel is my favorite bird. Um, we got, but just like any other American kid, though, I love bald eagle. But we got those two that live over here, Sam and Diane. So, but I love an American kestrel, and and I love a wood duck, dude. Yeah, Big Mama dancing over here. All right, so excuse me. They propose that molts be related to the incoming generation of feathers because feather loss is a passive result of the growth of new feathers. They also proposed one, that the plumage that is renewed after breeding be considered the main component or the quote unquote basic plumage of the animal cycle of plumages, and two, that breeding adornments be considered temporary additions or quote unquote alternate plumages. Thus, the olive green winter plumage of the scarlet tanager is its basic plumage, acquired via a pre-basic molt. Jesus Christ, come on, guys! That does not include replacement of the juvenile flight feathers. The following spring, a pre-alternate molt produces the bright red alternate plumage. Why can't they just like give it like cool terms? Alternate, pre-alternate, basic, and pre-basic. Oh, Merlins are cool birds too. Merlins are really cool birds too. If so, here's the thing. I'm sitting right next to the window. The window's open because we're trying to get some air into this house. It's the first nice day in weeks. But the feeder's right outside. So if I speak low like this, can you still hear me? All right, cool. Let's see if I can speak softer and not scare these birds away. Okay. I'm gonna sound like a golf announcer. Now, mosey up to the bird feeder. Oh, here he comes with the approach. No, just all right. Here we go. The comparative study of molts and plumages reveals that some species, such as American robins and European starlings, undergo only a single annual molt, whereas others, such as the scarlet tanager, have a complex series of extra seasonal molts. Right on. One complete molt a year was probably the primitive pattern from which more complex molt patterns evolved, and it continues to be the typical pattern. I don't know who that was. Gradual feather replacement imposes the least metabolic stress on an individual. Hey, oh, by the way, the little X is going to be home from school in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to probably have to pause because the dog's going to go ape shit. Big Mama's going to go ape shit. Of course, the kid's going to go ape. I'm going to go a little ape shit because the kid gets home. I get excited to see the kid. So you can't blame me. Please don't blame me. So we may have to have a little pause. So Yeah. No, I'm telling our one viewer, J Man, who's a bad mofo. He's the baddest of bad mofos. Yeah. Oh, hey. Oh, never mind. Okay, so one. Oh, let's see. Multiple molts have proved advantageous for some birds as aids to seasonal display or as adaptations to severe feather wear or parasites. Some birds have more than one complete molt a year. Others have both one complete molt and several partial molts. Right on. Thanks, Jay. Birds that live in environments that what? Yeah, no, he's gonna be walking in the door any second now. I'm seeing Norman will come flying through the house. Oh, well, I know. He'll come through the back door and come flying through the house. Birds that live in environments uh, severely abrade severely abrade feathers. That means they rough them up. May molt more frequently than usual to maintain plumage. For example, in deserts where wind and sand rapidly destroy feathers, some African larks molt completely twice a year. European larks, which suffer less abrasion, molt only once a year. Species such as marsh dwelling sharp tailed sparrows, Jesus Christ. Is that the whole thing? No, just the sharp tailed sparrow. Imagine if that was I wouldn't put it past these bird freaks to name it the marsh dwelling sharp tailed sparrow. Tit. The marsh that the birders always like to put tit behind stuff. All right. Oh, that reminds me. Subscribe to the channel. One of these days, coming up very soon, because this is my sick, stupid sense of humor. We will be doing an all tit episode. We're gonna do tit with a side of boobies. All right, so it's gonna happen. So just get ready for it. We'll do bush tits. We'll do great tits. They're all great tits, but we're talking about the English tits, the English great tits. We're gonna talk about tit mice. We're gonna talk about blue-footed boobies. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be an all tit and booby episode. Yeah, buddy. Yes. Oh, here it comes. All right. Here, hold on. I gotta put you on pause. I'm gonna mute. The dog's gonna ape shit here. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna mute this. Right. All right. All right. So let's see here. Can you hear me? You turn up. You can hear me? Whatever. It'll work out or won't.
Wait. Sorry, honey.
Well, I don't know.
We watched the mask.
Oh yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Brilliant. All right, one complete molt a year was probably okay. I already got through all this stuff. Birds that live in environments that severely abrade feathers may molt more frequently than usual to maintain plumage. For example, in deserts, I already got all through that stuff too. Let's see. Shedding parasites is one apparent result of the double molt in the sparrow. Yeah, the marsh-dwelling sharp-tailed sparrow that live in coarse grass habitats may also molt twice a year. Shedding parasites is one apparent result of the double molt in this sparrow. It has fewer feather parasites than the seaside sparrow, which lives in the same marshes but molts only once a year. Another marsh and grassland species, the bobolink, also molts completely twice a year. Male bobolinks switch between streaked brown winter plumage and a striking black and white alternate display plumage, whereas females replace their worn brown feathers with fresh ones of the same color. Wah wah. A few, right on, right on, right on. A few birds molt 3 or 4 times a year, but the additional molts are only partial ones. Ruffs undergo pre-basic molt in the fall, the pre-alternate molt in the spring, which produces most of its breeding plumage. Then a third molt, which produces the ruff. That's in chat. I don't know what the chat. We got to switch to chapter 16, but I'm not going to do that right now. To then to match their camouflage to the seasonal changes in the tundra. Ptarmigan have 3 partial molts a year, and some populations of the willow ptarmigan have 4. There we go. A little house sparrow out there finally on the ground. Couldn't really get the tripod lower, but I had to shut the window so we don't scare away the birds. I should go put that tripod on the ground. I'm not going to though. Whereas geese have simple annual molt and plumage cycles, many ducks of the northern temperate regions, excuse me, have evolved more unusual sequences in which the pre-alternate molt starts before the fall pre-basic molt finishes. After they breed, drakes undergo a rapid pre-basic molt that often includes simultaneous loss of all flight feathers, rendering them flightless and vulnerable for several weeks. The basic plumage that follows is a dull, hen-colored, quote-unquote, eclipse plumage that does not last long because the pre-alternate molt begins before the pre-basic molt in the flight feathers is complete. The pre-alternate molt produces the drake's handsome breeding plumage by early winter, the season of courtship and pair formation. Ah, yes, love is in the air. Sequences of feather replacement. Molting in most birds follows a regular sequence within each feather tract. The usual sequence for the primary flight feathers, for example, is from the innermost primary outward to the last feather of the wingtip. In contrast with groups such as ducks, which become flightless because they molt all their flight feathers at the same time, regular and symmetrical sequences of flight feather replacement seem geared to maintain flight ability. Yeah, okay, so that when they lose one on one side, lose one on the other side. That's algebra. See, that's simple. Algebra, right? Yes. Replacement of the primaries and secondaries of wings produces only small temporary gaps in the wing surface and only a small reduction of flight power. Like the flight feathers of the wing, tail feathers also typically molt from the innermost pair to the outermost pair, or centrifugally. Centrifugally, like centrifugal force, but like that, with some exceptions. Large Asian partridges called snowcocks. Oh, we're going to do tits and boobies. We got to do a cock episode. We got to totally do a tits, boobies, and cocks episode. Bro, the Ick Boys is in business, man. To avoid loss of lift, snowcocks have a pattern of tail molt that differs from that of other partridges. Well, you got that. Well, no, I'm hot. I'm cold. I'm hot. I'm cold. Oh, you're killing me over here. Okay, it starts in the middle of each side of the tail and proceeds slowly in both directions. Another distinctive molt pattern is found in male pennant wing nightjars and standard wing nightjars. They're extended. Second primaries are a liability in flight, so they emerge out of normal sequence after all other primaries are replaced. We do not know what triggers, this book was made in 1990, you probably know it by now. We do not know what triggers the serial replacement of feathers. Serial means in line. Possibly each follicle has a different sensitivity to the hormones that trigger molt. If so, the feather with the greatest sensitivity would drop first. Adjacent follicles may interact directly or indirectly in association with local expansion of blood vessels. Much remains to be learned about the control of molt sequences. You want to shut the window? You want to lift the window? You shut the thing? All right, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, huffing and puffing. Thank you. Oh boy, I didn't think this through very well. Here we go. This window's a turd. All right, how's that? Good. All right. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see here. Feather colors. Feathers come in all shades, hues, and tints, and their colors are due either to biochrome pigments deposited in the feather or to special features of feather surfaces. That would be the color blue. Why don't you just say it? Are you blue phobic? Okay, sorry. Biochromes are naturally occurring chemical compounds that absorb the energy of certain wavelengths of light and reflect the energy of other wavelengths of light to produce the observed colors. Structural colors result from physical alteration of the components of incident light on the feather surface. So, biochrome. Those biochromes. Those are like I said before. The color blue does not exist in nature except in a handful of species of butterflies. Other than that, is a trick of the light. White light goes in, bounces around in there. Only blue light bounces back out to hit your eye. And it's just a trick of these crazy little prisms. You know, I'm sure it's going to get into it here in just a little bit. Well, that is a pigment. That's not nature. That's plastic. Pigments. There are three major categories of pigments in feathers: melanins, carotenoids, and porphyrins. I haven't read these words in a long time. Melanins, carotenoids, and porphyrins. porphyrins. Brilliant. The most prevalent are melanins, which produce earth tones, grays and blacks, browns, and buff colors. What a buff color is. Carotenoids produce bright yellows, oranges, reds, and certain blues and greens. Porphyrins produce bright browns and greens, as well as unique magenta found in Turaco feathers. I love Turacos. They're funny birds. Turacos are great. I'm reading to myself. That's all right, man. It's okay, dude. It's ornithology. I read it for me. I read it for posterity because I'll go back and listen to this stuff. Because I don't know. I haven't cracked a biology book in decades. Here we are. Let's see. Two kinds of melanin dominate the barbs and barbules of bird feathers. Eumelanins are large, blackish, irregularly shaped granules that produce dark brown, gray, and black. Phaeomelanins, 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 are smaller, irregularly shaped, reddish or light brown granules that produce tans, reddish browns, and some yellows. Color patterns often result from having mostly eumelanins in some places and mostly pheomelanins elsewhere. In the plumage of the gray catbird, for example, the lead gray color of most of the plumage results from eumelanin, and the rusty color of the undertail coverts comes from pheomelanin. Melanin performs many functions. The extra keratin associated with melanin makes the feather more resistant to wear. Dense melanin concentrations in the black wingtips of high-speed aerial species such as gulls and gannets reduce fraying of those feathers. Melanins help protect the feathers from desert species from sand abrasion. Melanins also absorb radiant energy, which aids in thermoregulation. There is speculation that melanin granules promote drying of damp feathers by absorbing and concentrating radiant heat in the feather microstructure. If true, this could help to explain why birds of wet climates tend to be dark colored, a phenomenon known as Gloger's rule. Gloger's rule, in honor of Konstantin Gloger, who, that's a great name, Konstantin Gloger, who studied the relationships between climate and variation in birds. Most carotenoid pigments, which are responsible for bright red, orange, and yellow colors, dissolve easily in lipids or organic solvents and are often stored in egg yolk, body fat, and secretions of the oil glands. These pigments also accumulate in droplets of lipid in the cells of growing feathers and are then left embedded in the barbs and barbules when the natural fat solvents disappear during the last stages of keratinization. The solubilities of carotenoid pigments enable chemists to extract them easily and to identify those responsible for particular plumage colors. Carotenoids take two chemically distinct forms: carotenes, carotenes, which is different from keratin, which is Keratin, which is the stuff your hair and these feathers are made of, keratin. But one of these colors, carotenoid colors, is one of these things. It's called a carotene, Carotene. Way to not make it confusing, biologists. And okay, sorry, let me back up to the beginning. Carotenoids take two chemically distinct forms: keratines and xanthophylls. Xanthophylls, spelled with an X, have oxygen atoms attached to the carbon and the hydrogen molecules of their structure, whereas keratines do not. Xanthophylл lutein is a common pigment that produces bright yellow feathers, such as those of the breeding male American goldfinch. Bright red pigments include canthaxanthin, astaxanthin, and rhodoxanthin. The bright red feathers of the male scarlet tanager contain canthaxanthin. A deep red, the deep red tips of the cedar waxwing secondaries contain astaxanthin. Bright red pigments are usually chemically transformed yellow pigments. No shit. Okay, well, that makes sense. The red canthaxanthin. That is a great band name, canthaxanthin. Oh, sorry, so got it flashed out there. The red canthaxanthin of a scarlet tanager's summer plumage, for example, alternates with related yellow pigment. Oh man, they're still not throwing more stuff. Isoxanthin, spelled the S, Z, and an X. Man, what the hell is? Nobody's paying attention to this anyway. In this bird's yellow plumage, the pigment rhodoxanthin. I'm sorry, it's tired of saying xanthin, dude. You trying to hold it together over there? You got glitter all over your face. That's funny. Where you been? The pigment rhodoxanthin, which yields various colors depending on the acidity of the feather substrate, produces the beautiful blues, violets, and reds of the Tinopus fruit doves of New Guinea. So now I'm looking into the rhodoxanthin and how it relates to this blue of the fruit dove of New Guinea. I see how that works, because I know the blue pigment's only created in a couple of species of. Well, maybe things have changed since I read that, but when I did, it's only created in several species of butterfly. Melanin's incredible. Right, we get it. You're dying. Okay. A comparison of the replacement of carotenoid pigments in the feathers of male red crossbills and male white-winged crossbills shows how different effects have been achieved. The feathers of the red crossbill are deep brick red, whereas those of the white-winged crossbill are pink. Red pink pigment is red pigment is present in both barbs and barbules of red crossbill feathers, but only in the barbs of white-winged crossbill feathers. The mixture of clear barbules and red barbs in the feathers of the white-winged crossbill produces pink, but the bird's plumage reddens as the clear barbules abrade. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I guess so, because it would reflect more around in there. Melanins and carotenoids, xanthophyll specifically, work together in one feather. One feather, most commonly producing olive greens, such as those of the European greenfinch, the great tit, and the female scarlet tanager. Melanin deposited at the tips of the barbules overlies xanthophyll that is deposited at the bases of the barbules and in the barb rami. The reverse combination, yellow pigment in the barbule tips and melanin in the barbule bases, occurs in some green fruit pigeons. Porphyrins, oh, God, terrible word, I hate that word. Porphyrins, related chemically to hemoglobin and liver bile pigments, are the third major type of pigment. They show intense red fluorescence under ultraviolet illumination. Porphyrins are fairly common in the red or brown feathers of at least 13 orders of birds, notably owls and bustards. Those pigments, chemically unstable and easily destroyed by sunlight, are found primarily in new feathers. Turisin, or Europorphyrin 3, a unique copper-containing pigment, produces the bright magenta in the wings of turacos. Turacos are great looking birds. They're such pretty birds. Spectacular crow-sized birds of African forest. They're really cool. They jump around from limb to limb. They're really cool birds. We do not know the chemical structure of the pigments that create the green colors of the head feathers of pygmy geese and other eiders, the back and wing feathers of the crested wood partridge and the blood pheasant, or the wings of the northern jacana. Peripherin pigment, turacoverdin, of uncertain chemical relationship to tyrosine, produces the brilliant greens and turacos. Oh man, it's too many. That's too many chemical terms. I might not get through this. I might not get through this chapter. I might have to continue this later. Yeah, we'll continue structural colors later. See if any birds show up.